Fakemon. I make a lot of them. Some for Sola, some for other projects, and usually they do wind up on this channel. Every so often though I do a collaboration or a one-off monster for someone else's video project and they might not have a corresponding video here. Today we've got a little bit of a roundup of those creatures and some fan art for another creator who I'm sure you all know. Hey there trainers, welcome back! You are with PewterCityJim and today we're doing something a little different. These designs are a little older and you may have seen them elsewhere. In fact, one of them makes a relatively frequent appearance. This little guy. Ever wonder where it came from? Well, wonder no more. On this channel we do a bunch of Let's Play stuff, but art is also a focus and I've been working to combine the two in our recent Pokemon Y art lock. We also have Sola, our ongoing Fake-It-X quest, along with various design challenges, contest entries, and more. If any of that sounds like fun to you, it would be awesome if you could like, subscribe, and say hi down in the comments. Remember trainer, you are welcome here. So, first off, let's slip backwards in time. I designed a Fakemon line with the prompt Nostalgia for a collab with Joetem Reels and Proceleon. All relevant links in the description, of course, but it was in the distant past. Well, March of last year. Nostalgia is a pretty broad term. We're all nostalgic for different times in our lives, and it can also just apply to times in the past we like and would want to go back to, even if we didn't experience them ourselves. For me, I think of the 80s and 90s as a really nostalgic time period. The colors and music and TV shows are just a big part of my happy place. As a kid, there were so many colorful animal mascots that I liked. The Care Bears and Care Bear Cousins, Wuzzles, Popples, My Pet Monster, Muppet Babies, you get the idea. They were at their core half-hour-long toy commercials, but I loved them anyhow. Probably no chance growing up enjoying these weird colorful IPs that I wouldn't be a massive Pokemon nerd of. Anyway, I wanted to take a lot of those elements and combine them into a cute little design that evoked the characters that came about in that era. I started with a cartoon bear shape. You couldn't throw a rock 10 feet in the 80s without hitting a cartoon bear. Pooh, Care Bears, Little Flying Bears, Gummy Bears, Fozzie Bear, Butter Bear, the Berenstain Bears. And here's how that's always been spelled. So if you're one of those Mandela effect folks who thinks it's spelled this way, welcome to our side of the parallel universe. I hope you all enjoy your stay until we're folded into the universe where Pikachu has the black tail. But anyway, much like the Wuzzles and the Little Flying Bears, it has some cute translucent butterfly wings and some antennae topped with hearts. Also, it has a big poofy ruff around its neck, a bit like Eevee, but that ruff is actually a scrunchie. They were super popular in the 80s. The colors I went with are subdued magenta and cyan leaning blue. Those are the colors I always generally think about when I think of the 80s. I counterbalanced this with a warm yellow kind of saffron for the accents. I could literally imagine this tiny guy being a plush toy in some kid's bedroom. And here we have Floodle, the comforting Pokemon. This sprightly Pokemon is the best friend a kid could ever have. It can play all day without getting tired because it eats nothing but pure sugar. It can fly and everything. For ages 3 and up. Because the characters this little guy was influenced by were all cartoons with accompanying toy lines, I couldn't resist writing the Dex entry as if it were a short commercial. It's a fairy and bug type, not honestly sure what abilities it would have or stats or anything. Oh hey, let me know in the comments what you think would work for abilities and a signature move for the two monsters in this line. The suggestion I like best will become canon. Right, next we gotta evolve it. I was heavily inspired by the transition of Sonic the Hedgehog in the early 90s versus what he became in the late 90s and early aughts. He went from a pudgy little guy jumping around to free bunny rabbits and bluebirds, from cute robots to an edgy, lanky dude who smashes giant water monsters in the face to save a flooded city. And Sonic himself had a huge impact on character design in video games overall, with characters like Gex, Bubsy, Cool Spot, Zool, and others showing up on the scene with harder edges and more extreme features that was really necessary. The 90s overall are made fun of a lot for being unnecessarily edgy, but I think there's a weird charm to it that really could only work back in those days. So we take Floodle and we stretch it out a bit. Longer legs, longer arms. He still has a bit of a belly while maintaining that massive head, but it's stretched to look a bit more aerodynamic. The ruff around its neck is now a slap bracelet. The wings lose their butterfly spots and the tail becomes longer, kinda like the tail of a shooting star. It's got a gruff expression with a little arrow-shaped nose and long spiky hair. This hair is a bit of an homage to Goku as well, who started as a cute little bean but later graduated to somewhat edgy guy with spiky gold hair. Again, it kinda worked for Sonic. The colors are darkened just a hair to make the design that bit more edgy, and I lit it from below, like he's flying over a dark city, looking for evildoers to bring to justice, just like any good hero of the 90s. And here we have Flynamic, the dynamic Pokemon.
This Pokemon is able to blast process his way through any enemy with a flying speed that's supersonic and can be anywhere on the battlefield in a flash. Like its earlier form, it consumes nothing but sugar in the form of cola and other caffeinated drinks.
I couldn't resist throwing at least a few puns in there. Same typing, but I'm assuming the abilities would change. Maybe it would get some fighting type moves as well. Ooh, or maybe some dark and steel type ones? Sky's the limit, I guess. I'm actually really fond of these designs. I'm not sure if they'd make it into solo or any other future projects, but Floodle is one that I intend to keep popping in all over the place, so I kinda hope you like it. And again, the original video is posted down in the description, and I highly recommend it so you can see Joetem and Proceleon's Fakemon. They're awesome. Now, let's take a look at a critter inspired by a design from the early 2000s. Welcome to Johto. The second generation of Pokemon is generally much beloved for giving us a 2-region game, for being steeped in so much lore, and having a beautiful aesthetic all of its own. I do feel like the Dex gets dunked on a lot though. 100 new monsters, many of which aren't available until the player can get back to Kanto, and then a lot of these designs are just simple animals. There are a few breakout stars like Wooper and Furret, which I feel have benefited heavily from general meme culture, but a lot of these designs are considered underwhelming by some of the fandom. I mean, at least in my experience anyway. Your mileage may vary. It's not a universal thing, I guess. So TheSterninator approached myself, Angel from OddnDraw, and Dev to do a collaboration with him. And the prompt was to take a Pokemon that deserved an evolution and give it one. It was an awesome experience. The video is linked in the description and I highly recommend it so you can see all of the awesome designs from the other contributors if you haven't seen it already. I had a lot of ideas, but in the end settled on one in particular. Oh hey, pop quiz! Which 2-stage, dual-typed Pokemon introduced in Generation 2 gets no stab moves in its learn set? It's ledyba and ledian. That's right, it learns no bug-type moves and no flying-type moves on its own. It can learn some by TM and I believe its egg moves, but that's it. Crazy, huh? So I wanted to take this line and push it one step further to redeem it as a viable battler. Ledian's design is a ladybug, but also heavily inspired by Japanese superheroes. The various Sentai-style characters that became the Power Rangers out in the West, and Ultraman as well. There's another series called Juko Beefighter or Beefighter Kabuto, and that one wound up being remade into the big bad Beetleborgs in the West. A multicolored team of superheroes, sure, but a little bit more techie than the Power Rangers in regards to their outfit. More robot and less spandex. They're based on bugs too, and being that they look kinda robotic, it's perfect. One thing to mention is that in Generation 8 we have the Orbeetle line. It's also a ladybug inspired, but the final form is something pretty sinister and alien looking. A villain. And every good villain needs a hero to counter it. So I went and made Ledian a little more human proportioned while maintaining that 4-armed anatomy. The insect carapace is now more of a metallic outer shell that resembles real armor. It maintains several of Ledian's features. I wanted to make sure that this looked like a plausible evolution versus a Mega or something like that. In terms of inspiration, I looked at other monsters like Ceruledge, Gallade, and Scizor to try and keep things looking official as much as possible. In fact, it was challenging to try and keep it looking as different as possible from Scizor, as I didn't want them to look like rivals or related lines. I also looked at other metallic robotic characters like Metal Sonic, the Samurai Pizza Cats, and various Mega Man characters to inform my design. And here we have Ledyborg, the superstar Pokemon. Ledian, who are defeated by Orbeetle at least 5 times, will undergo a stunning metamorphosis, becoming Ledyborg. Righteous indignation wells within the heroic Ledian, lending it might to do what must be done and vanquish its foe. Its range of punches and kicks can topple skyscrapers, though it tries to mitigate collateral damage in its battles as much as possible. The evolution method is pretty niche, but the recurring theme in a lot of tokusatsu hero shows is that a threat arises and our heroes lose to it once or more. They need to do something different. Be something greater, call for additional help, upgrade their gear, anything to give them an edge. That's what this evolution method symbolizes. It becomes a bug fighting type, losing the flying type and yet gaining several flying moves in its repertoire. It does, however, gain some stab fighting and bug type moves also. Speaking of, here's your moves list, stat spread, and what the egg would look like if this was a cross-gen evolution for Ledian in the Solar region. Ledyba born in Solar would have unique egg colors, as do all Solarian Fakemon and regular Pokemon. Anyway, again, check out the original video in the description. You'll get to see a bunch of amazing designs there and hear awesome creators talk about their process and everything. It's a super fun time. And now, let's head north towards another fan region for a quick bit of fan art. So, I love Froopy Art's Pokemon Eclipse series, so much that I even appear in an episode. Something kind of amusing happened on March the 1st of this year. It was a Friday, so regularly scheduled Eclipse episode drops. Awesome. Watch that. Love it. It's a great time. Link in the description. My own Fakemon video drops at the exact same time, 10 AM on the 1st, because, you know, that's when I used to drop solo content before opting for the first Saturday of every month. Both videos had pink Fakemon. right there on the thumbnail. Immediately, I knew they were destined to be friends. So the story with Squarrow is that it's not exactly a pretty monster. It's covered in loose skin, has little bumps and blemishes all over itself, and it kind of knows that its aesthetic isn't 100% drop-dead gorgeous. Understanding this makes it upset at its own existence because, you know, no one likes to think of themselves as looking gross, right? I mean, I personally think it's a cutie patootie, but you know, that's just my opinion. Anyway, enter my own pig Fakemon, Gruntlet. If this monster looks a little familiar to you, that's fine. It's a super swine crossbreed of Swinub and Tepig, so it has features of both. As it evolves, it becomes more of its own thing, but for now, cute little bacon seed. I just love the idea of the generally happy little guy trying to cheer up his new friend. Hey buddy, what are you talking about? You look perfectly fine. Hey, how about we turn that frown upside down by finding a local farm and eating everything they got? What do you say? I lifted the colors of the background from a screen cap of Gravity Falls because that's one of the influence of the Hoax region, and the color palettes of that show are just fantastic. I wanted to give this picture a feeling of a closed space, like they're set up in a little clearing in an otherwise overgrown wilderness. A lot of backdrops in Gravity Falls have this feeling, and I hope I did an okay job emulating it despite having much less detail. Backgrounds are something I've been working hard at getting better with lately, as they're kind of my own personal kryptonite. So here's the finished piece. I hope you like it. And that's all I have for you this time, trainers. I hope you enjoyed seeing some of the other stuff I've done that hadn't yet made it to this channel. I have some more fan arts as well that I haven't finished yet, and I may do more videos featuring that stuff, so if you liked this, stick around. Anyway, thanks for checking in. Can't wait to catch you in the next one. But till then, take care. Bye.